Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're picking off right where we left off, and we're gonna continue our Heartstopper retrospective. Season 2 once again has 8 episodes, and this one we're gonna be going through episodes 1 and 2. So yeah, let's get started. Season two's intro basically parallels season 1 intro. We see Charlie walking into school, being really excited to see his boyfriend, except this time he's going to see Nick, not Ben. Which I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat could say thank God, because we don't like Ben. Like I said, season 2 picks up right where season 1 left off, literally the next day, because we see that Nick is telling Charlie about how it went when he came out with his mom. And as you remember, it went very well. And honestly, I'm really thankful that Nick has a mom that's very accepting and supportive of him and his life and what he's going through. Now I feel like not many moms are like that, so you know what, at least he has that in his corner. After their conversation, we get a little montage of them being a really cute couple. I really love them, they're really cute. If you don't love them, get out of my house. If you don't love them, you're not coming to my house. Then we cut to Charlie, Tao, and Isaac going to school. They're talking about how Charlie's in a relationship and all that stuff, what they think of it. It turns out they really started to like Nick as well. A bit later, they walk into a convenience store and they run into Elle. And tensions between Tao and Elle are a bit awkward, because if you remember the last episode of season 1, they realize they have feelings for each other, but they don't realize that their feelings are reciprocated, so it's kind of awkward. Cut to Nick's side of things, we see him walking to school, and as he goes in, he completely ignores the rugby lads, because remember, he's not talking to them because they associate with Harry. So therefore, he thinks that they're homophobic. Which, you know what, valid. If you're hanging out with a homophobic crowd, most likely you're homophobic. But then again, you could surprise us. He does, however, still talk to Imogen, of course, and Imogen shows him her new dog, Brooklyn. Put a picture right up here. She also tells him that she no longer has a crush on him. She has moved on, which, you know what, good for our girlie knowing that she can never come between Nick and Charlie. Nick wants to know who she's crushing on, but she says that she won't tell him unless he tells her any romantic developments that he's going through. He debates about telling her about Charlie, but at the end of the day just decides against it. He doesn't give a proper reason why, it's just the nerves of coming out to someone. Which, again, very relatable. Doesn't matter if the person you're coming out to is a huge ally or is your best friend of years, it is still it's still a scary thing to do, especially if you're just freshly out of the closet. So I don't blame him for not telling her here, especially when they're in public. Now, officially in school, Nick has to go to a study hall to study something called the GCSEs, which I think is their version of the SATs. Which, imagine having to study for the SATs. Anyways, unfortunately, there is a seating chart for this study hall, and double unfortunately, he is forced to sit next to Ben. Ben tries to talk to him even though there's not supposed to be any talking during study hall, and rightfully so, Nick ignores him. Nick, like the rest of the world, hates Ben for what he did to Charlie. Yeah, guess what? We don't like it when you harass people. Me and my homies, we don't like Ben. Unfortunately, study group is keeping Nick and Charlie apart. Homophobia. Just kidding. Because the main time they spend together is at schools. So, Charlie decides to join the rugby team once again so he can spend more time with Nick. I don't think that's a good idea. You should never join a sport just to be with your significant other, unless you like that sport as well. Which in this case, Charlie doesn't mind it, I think. Now back to practice, we do see that a bunch, if not all the rugby lads, are glad to see Charlie come back. You could truly tell that they did like Charlie as a person, and they did miss him when he wasn't there. And once again, they try to talk to Nick, but Nick pushes them off. Like I said, he's still not able to forgive them for just standing there as Harry was being extremely homophobic and hurtful to Charlie. So, he wasn't playing like a team. Hey, nice catch, Nick. Why don't you throw it over? Are you not gonna pass the ball? Nah, I'm good. Why not? Because you're homophobic? I'm not playing with no homophobic motherfucker. Whoa, hey, who said I'm homophobic? Well, you hang out with Harry, don't you? Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm homophobic. Wait, is that why you won't hang out with us anymore? Well, on the other side, this time at the girls' school now, we see Elle along with our favorite lesbians, Tara and Darcy. Everyone give it up for them. Okay, so we see them talking, and the girlies have picked up that Elle has a crush on Tao. So they decide to encourage her to pursue this crush, right? Saying that, oh, we're pretty sure he likes you back. And best way to find out is to give him a little flirt. Give him a little something. So after school, she just does decide to flirt with him a little bit, complimenting his hair and everything, which, girly, not the hair, but I see you and you're making money moves. Back to Nick and Charlie. After practice, they all go change in the changing room, but once everyone's out, just leaving them two, Charlie uses this opportunity to give Nick a little present. He gives him his favorite chocolate bar as a 2-month anniversary gift, which relationship goals. They start to kiss, but almost immediately stop because they hear someone walk in. You may be thinking, oh, so what, they're kissing? Well, so what if they get caught? They're not gonna get thrown out of school. You're right, but Nick is still in the closet, so therefore they have to be careful, just so he won't get outed. Fast forward to the weekend, Charlie's parents are on a vacation, so he has a whole house to himself. So he decides to invite all of his friends over for a little party where they watch movies, play games, and all that stuff. Of course, he invites all his friends: Tao, Isaac, Elle, Tara, and Darcy. And of course, Nick. And Nick invites Imogen, thinking it would be really good for her to meet his new friend group. And of course, to meet Charlie. Imogen does a really good job of fitting in with the rest of the friend group, and I think she'll make a very good permanent fit. Everyone does like her for the most part, so it's a good thing. Later on, towards the end of the night, they all start watching a movie, and Imogen asks Charlie for the restroom, and he tells her it's just upstairs, and Nick decides to guide her so she doesn't get lost. Now that both of them are alone, he thinks now is the perfect time to come out to her. I will be reenacting that for you. Hey, Imogen, I have something to tell you. Oh, really? What is it? Um, you know Charlie? Yeah, your boyfriend? Yeah. Wait, what? He's your boyfriend, is he not? Yeah. How did you know? Girl, really? That was obvious. I think it's so obvious even the mailman knows, and he sees you like for 10 seconds. So you're not surprised? I mean, no. I mean, no, of course not. Good for you. I'm really proud of you. And that explains why you wouldn't date me, because you're gay. Well, I'm bi, actually, but yeah. Oh, well, I still love you anyway. Come on, give me a hug. Oh, thank you. But now that I told you what's going on with my life, now you can tell me who you have a crush on. Fine, fine, fine. I have a crush on Ben. Ben? Like I said, she tells him she has a crush on Ben. Which, girl, pick yourself up. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. It's crazy. It's crazy. Once they make it back to the group, they continue to watch the movie and then later on fall asleep. Before going to sleep, Nick texts Charlie telling him that he told Imogen and it went really well. At the end of the episode, once Charlie's parents have come back, he does tell them about Nick and how they're dating. And they tell him that they didn't think Nick was gay. Charlie tells him he's not gay, he's bisexual. And then they say, well, bisexual or not, he can no longer stay for sleepovers. And when he's there, they have to make sure the door stays open, just so the parents could see that they're not doing anything crazy. Which I think is an unfair response. Like, you guys are in high school, but Charlie does take this as homophobia, which I guess maybe could be. But then again, most parents don't want their kids to have sex in high school, so regardless if it's gay sex or not. So I don't know. It's up for your interpretation. I think it's just strict parenting. But hey, that's just me. After this conversation, Tori confronts him, asking if they're really telling people now. And Charlie says yes. And Tori asks if he's ready for everything that is to come because of all this. And Charlie says everything will be fine because this time he's not facing any negative feedback alone. He'll have Nick with him by his side. And he says that everything will be perfect at the end of the day. And that's it. On to episode 2. Episode 2 starts off with the parents of the group going to like a parent-teacher conference day. And they all talk to the teachers and they find out how their kids are doing in school, right? It turns out Charlie has been letting his grades slip recently, maybe because he's too distracted. I wonder what keeps distracting him. I will also recreate that scene. Hello, Mr. Teacher Man, I am Charlie's mother. Yes, of course, it's nice to meet you, Mrs. Spring. Now let's discuss Charlie's grades, shall we? It looks like he's gone down from an A to a C. He hasn't been turning in a couple of his assignments now. Is there any reason as to why? Do you think something that's keeping him from doing his coursework? Something that's distracting him? Oh, I know exactly what's distracting him. Charlie's mom takes it a bit too far and says that Charlie is banned from seeing Nick entirely until all his coursework is done. So let's talk about that for a sec. I think it is extreme that she's completely banning him from seeing his boyfriend, but I think I don't know, like if it's a couple of assignments, Charlie could just easily get them through in a day or two and then just go back to Nick. I think it just is the principle and the fact that he feels like she just wants him stripped away from him entirely, which partially might be true, but as of right now, her main excuse is the schoolwork. So I feel like he should just get it done and then see what happens from there. But again, this is taken as homophobia, right? Which again, like I said, to each their own interpretation. I just think it's very strict parenting. But yeah, it could possibly be homophobia, and I'm just blind to it. On Nick's side of things, we also get introduced to David, Nick's older brother, who is kind of an asshole. He very much knows how to push Nick's buttons, which that's how you know they're siblings, at least. Anyway, Charlie updates Nick on the situation about the whole band thing, and Nick says that it just seems like the universe is just trying to pull them apart. And now Charlie having to do his coursework and Nick being stuck at study hall, which I think is a bit dramatic, but also kind of cute, thinking that they're meant to be together no matter what the universe throws at them. But yeah, in this case, it's just schoolwork. Back to the girly school. This is where we get introduced to a new character, Sahar, and Sahar was put in charge of having to organize the prom for the year 11s. And she realizes she doesn't really know what to do and she doesn't even have much help. So that is when she approaches our girlies, Tara, L. Darcy, and asks them for help. Of course, they instantly say yes and they're actually very excited to help Sahar. And they start to plan stuff out right then and there. During planning, Tara gets a message from Tao. Elle is torn. Because on the one hand, Tao is her friend, and she likes him. And on the other hand, Tao is her friend. And if things go wrong, then she might lose that friendship in the end. So she decides to just do her best and try to get over him. Back to the boys' school, Nick is in study hall, and Charlie finds an excuse to go visit him. He says that one of the pens that he has with him is actually Nick's, and Nick needs it back. So he goes into the study hall and returns the pen, giving them a moment to see each other. Which, I see what you're doing. That's cute. Good for you. Ben, of course, gets bothered by this because he just gets annoyed anytime he sees Charlie happy. So he talks to Nick. And then Nick just lets out all his frustrations. Nick says that he doesn't care if Ben was going through something, if he was going through a tough time. That is not an excuse for him to harass Charlie, or anyone for that matter. If you're going through your own things, that is not an excuse to make other people feel like shit. And he tells him to stay away from Charlie, and also to stay away from Imogen because he doesn't want him to hurt her in the same way he hurt Charlie. So, yeah. Let's talk about that for a sec. I 100% agree, by the way. People go through things, they get anxious, scared, hateful, and it's not an excuse to hurt other people. You are allowed to feel your own feelings, you're allowed to go through everything that you're going through and find a way to fix it, but this does not give you the okay to hurt someone else. Just thought I had to make that clear. Like they say, hurt people hurt people. So just be careful out there, guys. Anyways, back to Elle. Elle decided to go visit a nearby school called Lambert, which is an art school that she would love to go for next year. She gets a whole tour, and this is where she meets her new friends Naomi and Felix. She has a lot of fun with them that night, posting pictures about them, and this is where Tao finds out not only did she go to the art school to get a tour, but she also has now found new friends. And remember, Tao has attachment issues. Or not attachment issues, abandonment issues, sorry. Different things. So Tao hears about this and starts to panic, thinking that he might lose his best friend. And possibly the love of his life. But we'll get to that later. Anyways, again, now we're switching again, back to Nick. He confronts Imogen and tells her to stay away from Ben, but doesn't tell her why. Hey, Imogen, I really think that you should stay away from Ben. What? Why? Because he's just a horrible person, okay? He just sucks. Oh my god, why is he a horrible person? What did he do? Well, okay, I can't tell you what he did, but just trust. Okay, if you can't tell me what he did, then how do I know he's a bad person? I don't know, can't you just trust me? no, Nick, you don't want to tell me what he did, so therefore I'm not going to stay away. And you know what? People change. Maybe he'd messed up in the past, but you know what? Maybe now he's a better person. I highly doubt that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go with Ben. And scene. Thank you. So yeah, like I said, Imogen doesn't stay away from Ben because Nick doesn't tell her. Nick doesn't want to out Ben. Which, even after everything, Nick is still the bigger person. Which, honestly, good for him. If I were him, I just would have been like, hey, Imogen, stay away from him because he assaulted Charlie and he will most likely do that shit to you too. So just stay away. It would have ended this a lot faster, that's for sure. As the episode draws to a close, two important things happen. One, Elle decides to put distance between her and Tao. She decides it's better to do it now than later, since she might go off to this school far, which is not too far, but far enough. She realizes that she's not going to see Tao every day, and therefore it will just be better to just kind of cut him off slowly, starting here. That way, she could get over him and her feelings could heal. And same thing for Tao. We also learn that Tao has separation anxiety because his father died at a young age, basically leaving him without a father figure, right? And ever since then, he's always had the fear of the people closest to him leaving him, either it be death or just his best friends leaving him for someone else. His greatest fear has always been to be left alone. And number two, David, Nick's brother, finds out by putting the pieces together that Nick is dating Charlie. Turns out he goes into his room, sees the pictures of them making out. You remember the picture? Remember the pictures that they took in season one? These at the carnival. So he sees that, and then he puts two pieces together, and he's like, "Oh, my little brother's gay." He starts to be extremely homophobic. Nick tries to tell him that no, I'm not gay, I'm bisexual, and why do you care? And David starts to bully him again, saying that you can't even admit to being gay. Like, just say it. It doesn't matter. No wonder you suck with girls and all that stuff. Which is like, my God, dude, leave him alone. Like, it's never that serious. You need to calm down. All you have to do is say, "Wow, I'm proud of you. Good for you, brother." That's it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to not be homophobic. Unfortunately, Charlie was there to see the whole thing. He sees that Nick and David are fighting. Nick's mom tries to get in between them and starts to tell them both to calm down and starts to yell at David for being a homophobic prick. At the end of it, Nick does tell Charlie to go home and that he'll figure everything out. So Charlie goes home. Unfortunately, his mom caught him. And now he's even in more trouble than he is before because he snuck out, right? Remember the band thing? Yeah, he just said, "F it, we're not doing the band thing." So now he's in bigger trouble. And he sends a message apologizing to Nick, saying that he thinks it's all his fault that David found out about them. And then Nick responds saying, no, it's not his fault. People are just sometimes just people. They just have to learn to work through it together. So yeah, the episode doesn't end on a positive note at all. And that's the end for episode 2. So yeah, final thoughts. I think it's a really cool thing how we get to see Nick coming out for the first time to like the people around him. We get to see how good it can be, like with his mom and with Imogen, and we can see how bad it can be, like with David. So yeah, it's really realistic in that sense that you can't control how people react to you coming out. You could just kind of just hope for the best, right? And hope that people are gonna love you no matter what. We also get to see Elle and Tao's relationship kind of start up and then kind of die out a little bit. Of course, that's not the end of the relationship, but I do think it's interesting how Tao has separation anxiety and how that connects to from when he was young. I think it's a very interesting story arc and storytelling as a whole. Yeah, not too much of Tara and Darcy in these 2 episodes, sorry. Which hopefully that'll be fixed later. And also, as a final reminder, we hate Ben. All my homies hate Ben. So Imogen better stay away from Ben. Anyways, that is it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't mind, give me a like and a subscribe. It will really help me out. And yeah, the format of this retrospective is a lot smaller because I have been really slammed with schoolwork recently and I just had to complete it all. So I didn't really have the time to script out and record 4 episodes. And also, I think it's a bit better to make like smaller episodes just so you guys get to see them not only a lot faster, but they're a lot shorter. I know, kind of not always fun to watch a 30+ minute video. But yeah, as of right now, especially just for this season, we're going to keep them at 2 episodes each. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment telling me, I don't know, something. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys. Have a good one and stay safe. Bye-bye.